What's up, everybody? You're back here with me again behind the mic. It's hot in here, y'all, but I got something hotter. I got the mogul podcaster, Phil Better. He is a producer, consultant to podcasters and digital entrepreneurs on how to master your podcast so you can get revenue, right, Phil?
Yeah, pretty much. Hi, everybody. I'm Phil Better. I call myself the podcast mogul. I love podcasting so much that I decided, hey, I'm going to quit my job at the financial industry and just go 100% into podcasting. That's what I did. I can tell you right now, I've been starving for the last 5 years of my life. No, I'm not. I love podcasting, so I love helping people leverage podcasting because it's the most powerful form of marketing available to you. So, and a lot of people don't understand how to leverage it properly to either grow your audience for leads or just to grow your stardom if you want. It's simple, but it's hard work. And so I help demystify it and clear up the jungle so people can find their pathway through.
That's awesome.
You think for a podcaster, I'd be able to enunciate better.
Right? You would think I would do so much talking, right?
So not true. You should see me. I flub so much in my everyday life. My girlfriend's like, how do you have a job podcasting?
But they'll never understand. So, Phil, I want to ask you a question because this is behind the mic, and I feel like the people behind the mic are creators, no matter what it is. I told somebody, okay, a creator is somebody made the toilet, right? But still, somebody created that. It's an amazing creation, too. Would you consider yourself a creator?
I am a creator because I use my brain to find creative ways for people to make money. I think so. To understand the way I think, you have to go back to 2020. Actually 2019. Summer of 2019. 2019 was the best and worst year of my life. It was a weird year. Okay, pre-pandemic, so life was very different. It was the best and worst year because it was the best because I went to Ireland. And I've been wanting to go to Ireland my whole life. And I finally got the chance to go to Ireland. I went to Dublin and Cork and had a phenomenal time. On the flip side of that, I ended a 6-year relationship I was ended, and it was not good for me. It was mutual, and looking back, like hindsight's 2020, it was the smartest thing that happened. Like it was the best thing that happened to me, but it was just like devastating. And then in November, was it November? Yeah, it was November of 2020. For my birthday celebration, Scorpio power, let's go. I got into an argument with my mother on my birthday about Christmas ornament. It's like a trifecta of like awesome right there, right? You know, your mother, who's supposed to be, for most people in general, I'm talking about, is your best friend, a man's first love, and all that. Then it's your birthday, which is supposed to be this special event because it's your birthday, right? You just came out of your mother, so you're celebrating, that. And then you have Christmas. It's supposed to be in the Christian calendar, the happiest time of year, like all the perfect things. I have a major argument with my mother over Christmas ornaments, ladies and gentlemen. And at that point, both my parents were like, okay, we're done with this. You need to go see something. Like something's up. You need to talk to someone. So fast forward December 1st, I went to see the family doctor. The family doctor was like, okay, here you go. Have some pills to make you happy. 2 months later, the happy pills were not working. And I was like, yeah, no, it's far past happy pill time. I need time off. January 31st, I went on burnout from my corporate job working for a financial institution, one of the biggest banks in Canada. I'm a Montreal Canadian boy, so if you're watching, over my shoulder is the Habs logo. I'm a huge Habs fan. Love hockey. But I walked into the office after seeing the doctor and being like, my mental health is too important to me. I need time off. Doc's like, yeah, sure. How much time do you want off? I'm like, 2 months? Because I'm a man. And I'm like, 2 months is all I need. I can tough through it. Stupid. Go in. My boss already knew like it was coming. Handed it. I'm like, hey, if you need anything. He's like, no, shut up and get the F out. We'll take care of it. You're not like, you're important, but you're not that important to the business. Like, we can survive without you, Phil. We're a $7 billion company. I'm pretty sure you're like, we can survive without you. So I took 2 months off, and pretty much the same day I went on burnout from my job, I got a call from a therapist that my family doctor referred to me, and for 6 months I was just weekly therapy, and that helped transform me into the guy I am today. So therapy is one of the reasons I am where I am today, and why I think I'm more of a creative person than ever, because it allowed me to realize, like, before I was thinking all selfish stuff, like, oh, what can I do for me, right? Then I realized, no, it's not about me. Like once I get to where you're happy,
Yeah.
you want to help other people. And because I love reading, I love knowledge, I love money, because money gives you freedom. Anybody who says money doesn't buy happiness is stupid, because money buys time, and time is your freedom. So if you have enough money to buy your time, then your time equals freedom. So if I make $100,000 a year, I don't need to work that much, because I can
Right.
leverage that money to provide me assets that produce me more money. If I have more money, which means I don't have to work as much actively, because that's when the passive income comes. And that's when I buy more of my time back. If I buy more of my time, I have more freedom. And if I have more freedom, I have happiness. So I try and tell people, like, yes, money is bad, but money buys back my time, which is way more valuable, because I have a finite amount of time on this. I have 2 dates in your life. You have 2 dates: the day you're born, the day you die. Everything in between doesn't really freaking matter, as long as you do something happy. As long as you're happy and you don't hurt anyone, and you're doing things with consenting adults and all that fun stuff, consenting people, I don't care what you do with your life. But you have a finite moment of time on this earth. Why are you spending it doing something you don't love? The only way you can, right? I really, like, if you love marketing, go freaking ham into marketing. Find out what type of marketing, because you have digital marketing. When you do digital marketing, it breaks down even to bigger things, like, is it Facebook groups? Is it Facebook ads? Is it Instagram ads? Is it Instagram profiles? Is it Instagram contests? Like, there's thousands of things inside digital marketing that you can drop down and niche into to become specialized. Like, when I don't know how old you are, Brandy, because I know
42. Wait, 43. 31, drop 2.
I love when you hit a certain age, you're like, I have to do math now to figure out where I am, because, like, your birthday doesn't, like, for me, my birthday doesn't matter. Like, I don't really care about my birthday. It's a celebration for other people. For me, it's
Right.
like, it's another date. I have more important things to accomplish. Like, if you want to celebrate my birthday and say, Phil, we're having a party, I'm like, okay, I'll be there. For me, it's a celebration for other people. For me, whatever. I don't. It's really, I have a weird way of viewing the life. Anyways, so when we were growing up, the internet was supposed to like decentralize the world, right? Give access to everything. Then companies got a hold of it and was like, no, it's money now.
Right.
So it's delayed the decentral, and they're continually trying to delay the decentralization of everything, but they don't realize it's already hit critical mass because of what they've done. Big businesses and the rich have done to make money off the internet. They don't realize how now everybody's teaching it. It's now at the second level, because people started 14, 25 years ago. I've talked with people on my show, Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur podcast, where I interview digital entrepreneurs, people who make money online. I've interviewed people who's been in the game for 25 years. So just as long as the internet's been up. So they've seen every single friggin' change, like Web 0.1 to Web 0.30. And this guy is still in the game. He's still playing around with the next gen of stuff coming down. And he's made a living. I'm trying to get someone who's been in it for 14 years specifically, but they've done all the different types of entrepreneurship online, make money online, and they've proven it. Now they're teaching people.
Yeah.
So now they're teaching, right? They teach 100 people a day, let's just say, every day for 365 days. That's over 300,000 people who've just been taught how to make money online. Let's say 1% of those people actually do it. Then they go on to teach other people, and it just compounds. Sooner or later, it's going to hit that point where people are going to realize, I don't have to do a 9 to 5. Okay, there will be people who will have to do 9 to 5s because they don't like doing business online, or they prefer, they're like, no, that's too complicated. I like to punch the clock. Cool. Be you, honey. Be you. I don't care. But I know creatives now have the ability to create businesses, because you have people like me who just want to see people like you, painters. Like we were talking before we recorded, like I'm like, why aren't you live streaming your painting? You live stream your painting. You tell everybody go to your website. They sign up for an email. Email list. You send them an email every time you do your live stream. They come in. It boosts your numbers. YouTube's like ooh, and Twitch is like yeah, and they start putting you on the front page. They start boosting you. They put their billion-dollar businesses behind you to boost you, which brings in more viewers. That brings more people to your email list. And then when you have an event like you do, you say, hey, I'm going to be at Coney Island at this place. Buy your tickets. Sold out. Because you built your email list and you just continually showed up and did everything. Everybody saw the paintings because you did them live.
Yeah.
But now they're coming to see them all displayed because they want to support you. This is what, like, people who go, no, you can't make money online. I don't need to make billions of dollars. If I have 1,000 people paying me $100, I make 100,000. I don't know what the math. I think it's like, hold on, let me get the math up here because I feel horrible quoting. No, that's the calendar, not the calendar. Calculator.
Feel better, everybody. He is good, isn't he?
Everything's freezing.
I'm like, preach, honey, preach.
I'm like over here trying to do things. I just like So I was listening. What's really funny, I was listening to, here we go. I have 1,000 people paying me $10 or $10. Yeah, I get $10. Yeah. All you need is 1,000 people paying you $10 a month. That's $10,000 a month. If you can't live off $10,000 a month, AKA $120,000 a year, which will put you close to the top, that will put you, I believe, in the top 10% of the population. I think to be in the top 1% in the US, I believe you need $400,000. That puts you in the top 1% per year. Like you make 400,000 a year, you're in the top 1%. To be like Elon and all those people, that's 0.00001%. Forget about them. You make 100,000, you're in the top 1% of the world. You live below your means. You're sitting pretty.
Phil, are you still there?
I'm still here.
This is the internet. He's dropping jewels.
Don't tell me I'm not. No.
Froze us.
Did I freeze?
Phil, man, are you there?
I'm there. Hold on.
All right, everybody, hold on. He's coming back in. You still there, Phil?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Kind of froze up for a minute, but all I'm going to say to that, Phil, is the internet heard you dropping jewels, and they was like, oh, we got to stop him.
Yeah, the internet's like, oh, wait, no, stop it. He's dropping too much knowledge. No, what I was saying is like 1,000 people, $10 is $120,000 a year. That puts you in the top 10% of the world. You live below your means. You're living pretty for you do that for 5 years. You live on 70K, invest the other, I think it's 50K. I said, yeah, 50K in proper stocks. Like just buy Apple. Apple's not going anywhere. Buy Apple stocks. Just put your money into Apple. Boom, boom, boom. In the next 3 years, you do that, and then afterwards, you're sitting pretty. Like one of the things I love is obviously making money, learning how to make money. Talking, teaching people. Like I want everybody to understand, like, it is not hard. I was watching a Mr. Beast video, a podcast. Actually, he was on Rogan and then on the Full Send podcast. And then I'm going to be listening to him on Impulsive and Andrew Schultz podcast. Now, these are people that I don't necessarily like. Mr. Beast I like because he just gives all his stuff away.
You don't like Rogan?
Yes and no. Okay. It's hard as a podcaster and a guy marketer, and like in this world of podcasting that I am in, this industry that's so brand new and it's still baby, even though it's been around for 20 years. I love what he's doing. Now, do I stand for everything he says? No. Do I stand for all the guests he has on his podcast? No. Do I respect him for having people who are varying degrees? Yes. That's all I'll say about Rogan. Like not all his guests are my cup of tea. Like I respect the guy for what he's done. Will I go out and have a beer with him? More than likely, because it's Joe freaking Rogan. Like, come on, who's gonna say no to Joe freaking Rogan? But will I promote it? Like, it's hard because I like what he's done, but at the same time, some of the things and some of the people he's had on, I feel is wrong. So that part, it's hard. Like, it's like, oh, but what you're doing over here, it's like, yeah, oh, why did you do that? You know, like having super far right conservatives on that are spewing confirmed lies. You're like, why are you even entertaining this? This is not something you entertain. Like, I'm not sure if he had Andrew Tate on or not, but
Oh,
one thing
yeah.
that really made me like Logan Paul a lot more was his stance on Andrew Tate and what his friend KSI was going to do with Tate, like have Tate on his podcast to debate. And Logan Paul came out and said, "Don't do that. That's effing stupid. What is wrong with you? Why give him more of a platform?
Right.
He's wrong."
Yeah,
So
people
for
mixed up. Like he's feeling so kind of like,
yeah, and I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, because I only knew him about the stupidity that he did around up until like the Suicide Forest and all that. I knew of who Jake Paul was, and wait, there's Jake and Logan. I knew who they were because, and I'm like, oh God, I hate them. They're so annoying. They're not my type of comedy. They're not my type of YouTube. But then I took a step back and looked at them from a business point of view, and what they were doing was genius. Like the brothers are genius. Whoever's working with them is a genius because he was able to sell $3 million worth of merchandise in 3 days. Like, just think about that. This is where we're going. It's no longer big brands because big brands aren't innovating. And Jimmy was saying this, Mr. Beast. I'm calling him Jimmy like I know him. I've never met the guy. My God, me and Jimmy, you know, we go back a long time. Like, no, Mr. Beast was saying this on, I think, the Full Send podcast. It's no longer big business. Big business will be disrupted because of the next generation, the millennials, the alphas, whatever we're calling them. They're gonna change the game because now it's no longer TV. Now the barrier to send an ad, I can put out an ad $5 a day on Facebook, $5 a day, and I can end up making $10,000 from that. Like, if I want to play, like, there's no guarantee. Like with traditional media, there's no guarantee that you'll make your money back. There's no guarantee you'll make the money back on Facebook. Pardon?
You play your cards right, though, right?
Yeah, like you're hoping. Like you're hoping, like they're saying, yeah, you're going to see 50 million people are going to watch the Super Bowl or whatever it was. 50 million. Mr. Beast has a video that has 221 million views. And it probably costs an advertiser to put something in Mr. Beast's video, like an ad. What? It's going to probably cost him $1 million maybe, versus I have to pay $1 million per second to get a 30-second spot on something that's only going to be viewed by 50 million people. And it's only going to air once, whereas the YouTube video is going to be continually aired. Like, why would I? Like, and on top of this is what like traditional advertisers and traditional businesses that are refusing to go to the YouTube, refusing to go to Spotify podcasts or anything like that, because they're like, no. You forget. The platforms are going to be spending money to boost users on it. So I don't have to spend more money to boost because they're going to be like, oh, we just took in another 50,000 users. There's 50,000 people I don't have to go out and get because YouTube just brought it in. Facebook just brought it in. You know, Instagram, and it still costs me the same thing to.
Like a no-brainer, huh?
So this is how crazy. Like I got into arguments. So for a while, I have a side hustle. I'm a bar back at a bar because, like, if I'm sitting at my desk all day, I'm not going to be moving. And after reading a book called the 80-20 rule, which means 80% of your success comes from 20% of the work you do.
I heard
right?
you talk about that on the show.
Yeah. So it's like I wanted to work out, but it's like going to the gym all the time. It's like, it's a lot of work to go to the gym, like get the exercise. So working as a busser in a pub, I have to move. Like, I'm hustling. I'm doing, like, the days that I worked, I was doing close to 30K steps. 30K steps, just running food, cleaning up things. I'm changing kegs, deliveries, all these things. So I'm doing a full-on workout every day that I would work. And I would get into people would argue with me like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. The internet's you can't. It's not that easy to become a YouTube celebrity. Da 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 da. I'm like, there's just on Facebook alone, there's 3 billion users. If I can't find 1,000 people in a 3 billion,
Right.
like, are you telling me there's not 3 out of 3? Here's the thing: if you take 8 people, put them in a room, they represent 1 billion people. There is a trait in each one of those people that is the same trait in 1,000 other people. So it could be like, oh, I like this specific artist. There's at least 1 billion people who like that specific artist. I like this specific spice. There's 1 billion people. So if you have 8 people in a room, they represent 1 or 10% or whatever the mathematical equation it breaks down to, but they represent 1 billion people. Wow. And in that 1 billion people, if you can't find 1,000 people that like you, either you just really suck at
are you
talking,
speaking
or eloquating words into making people like you, or you're just not looking hard enough, and you just say, yeah, no, there's no one.
Right.
Because I can put, it's like I'm not looking hard enough. Right. So to answer, going back to your original question, yes, I'm a creative.
There you have it.
Long-winded answer to say yes, I'm a creative, but I hope I dropped some bombs. I don't know. How long do we have? We're going an hour, right?
That's like I usually, because I know that.
No, don't worry. This is your end of day. This is end of day for me, so I'm clear the rest of the day. So if we go 2 hours, hopefully we won't go 2 hours, but you need to stop me because I will go 2 hours. The worst.
Get all that information out of you. We'll do about 3.
Probably.
No, seriously though, that was actually very great. You dropped a lot of. That's why I'm all like, So I forgot I was the host for a minute. But
I mean, like that. That's the thing, because when I'm hosting my show, so I have 4 shows. So let's do a proper introduction. 22 minutes into the episode, feel better, ladies and gentlemen. So, long story short, I started podcasting technically like 15 years ago, but that's when I fell in love with the game. I think it was like 15 years ago. There's an episode that has never been released that has a recording that me and a buddy did, and I'm going to be talking about it soon, but it's recorded. It's never going to be released because it's horribly edited. Like, it is bad, or it's unlistenable. Because we were like eating at the same. I did every faux pas you're not supposed to recording an episode in that episode, so it will never see the light of day. I don't even think I technically have access to it. But yes, fell in love then because he's like, here, read this book. It was Podcasting for Dummies. This is back when you had to manually make your RSS feed. Okay, like, I'm old school. When I say I know podcasting, I'm old school. Okay. From there, fell in love with it, started listening to a lot of podcasts, specifically Kevin Smith, Jerry Ferrara from Entourage, The Weekly Planet, and a smattering of other podcasts, and like just fell in love with the way podcasters are doing and trying to figure out, how can I make money with this? Fast forward to about 6 years ago, I started the Feel Better Show for movies. I love movies. It's one of my passions. Just the escapism from it. There's no bad movies, there's just bad fans. That's what I always say, or bad viewers. Yeah, right. Look at this man, he's deep as hell. I am not deep at all. I just say things that sound really deep, but it's not. I read a lot. So started that. Originally started it because I wanted to talk to other people who love movies as much as I did, and I didn't have any friends like that. So I was like, hey, this is not gonna work. So I did a movie review podcast of new movies coming out, and let me tell you, that was the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. I consider my first show my best show, my worst show today, because it's my biggest success, but it's also my biggest failure, because it hasn't reached the heights that I've always wanted it to. But anyways, yeah, I did that. Burnout forced me, end of 2020, November 2020, started the second podcast, Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast, to interview digital entrepreneurs, because I was spending that whole time 2020 from burnout to November trying to figure out how to make money online, because I was just deep diving YouTube videos, and the pandemic hit, so they just exploded. I was just deep diving into these things, tried a few things, failed horribly, and then I was like, okay, what do I know? I know podcasting. So I started interviewing entrepreneurs to learn from them. Literally, the first episodes of my show was asking questions about how did you do it? What do you do? This and that, clients and all that. It's like literally I'm going after people that so I could learn how to do it. I think 6 months later, I got an award for best business podcast, inaugural. I was the first winner of this award. I was against some amazing podcasts. I'm like, are you serious? Me, little me. It was amazing. I found out I won. It was like the next, like I was amazed, but then I was like, I still need to work harder because I don't believe I deserved it. Launched Invest in Yourself, the podcast series, probably the summer of 2021. At the same time, launched Stock Dirty to Me, the #1 podcast for beginner investors. Yeah. I wish I could take credit for the name. I so wish I could, but I can't. It's actually a group member in the private group of stock investors, stock market for beginners. We're at about 50,000 members, or closing in on 50,000 members. We go live every other week in that group, and that from that group we spawned a private membership only group that we go weekly live, and we have a millionaire investor. Anyways, going down tangents here. So yeah, launched Invest in Yourself, the podcast series, interviewing podcasters about their show, how they got success, and like how they grew and their level of success, but also starting January of 2023, we're 2022, right? Yeah. So starting January 2023, that will be Mondays will be an educational episode, 15 minutes long. Wednesdays will be an interview episode. So I'm going to be interviewing guests, and like, so that's how it's going to roll. Changing the format right now. It's interview every other, every Mondays and Wednesdays are interviews, I believe, but I'm going to be changing it to Mondays being how to, and Wednesday be an interview.
Cool.
Pardon me, because I'm trying something. I use my podcast to try as experiments.
Yeah, I get it. That's too.
So I try, I stay within the niche of the podcast, but I'm like, okay, I want to try a different way of monetizing, or I want to try a different way of growth. I want to try a different this or that. So right now I'm starting January 2023. We're going to be launching the second iteration of the Invest in Yourself, the podcast series, with a different funnel for it to get guests, to get clients for that business that I'm building with that. Stock Dirty is still growing. It's still finding its legs in that. It's matured. It's in its we're going to be starting our third iteration of that show to a year into it. So it's very interesting because it went from us just talking about stocks with me and two other admins to one of the admins leaving, us bringing in a millionaire investor who's a client of mine onto the show, where we have one who's an economist. He's a millionaire investor. He built his portfolio to $1 million and he literally charges like $5,000 an hour, and he's on the podcast for free giving his advice. So it's like, oh shit. We don't waste his time. We try and keep it as short as possible, but he just drops gem, and his podcast is even amazing. So we have them on, and unfortunately, one of the guys, the economist, his plate was too much with his day job. He just had a child and the show, so it was really hard for him to come on. So he had to drop. So now it's just me and him. So we're changing the iteration of the show once again to change the type of the funnel and all that. So I'm working on that right now. The Digital Entrepreneur podcast is staying relevantly the same at the moment because I don't have time to change it up. But there's a different funnel I'm experimenting right now with that to funnel people into my business and create JVs and a whole bunch of other things. The Feel Better show is going to be changing. It's on a hiatus right now. It's on like an indefinite hiatus right now. But that's going to be changing the title to something else. It's going to be, I don't think I've locked down the name, but it's going to be Phil Stuck in the 90s Action Movie Dimension. I know it's a long
right here. Are you creating it right here on behind the mic?
This is the name I've been playing around with. Phil Stuck in the 90s Action Movie Dimension. And I have this whole concept of kind of like, have you ever heard of the show Quantum Leap?
Yes, I remember that show like way back in
Okay.
the day.
Right. Well, I keep forgetting. Like, I'm a super nerd, right? So I want it to be like I'm watching the '90s movie and I get sucked into it. So when I have the guests come on and we're talking about the movie, it feels like I'm going to be bringing up points of the movie, like what's going on. Like if it's a '90s, right? If it came out in '93, what was going on around the time that it was coming out? So I would be talking to him. Oh, do you remember that this was going on? This kind of influenced that, and try and make it more inclusive about the time the movie came out, so it's more involved. Because there's not a lot of people who remember that when, you know, Jurassic Park came out, it revolutionized CGI. You know, it was like the next thing because CGI before that wasn't like that, and other tidbits that were going on. You know, like the fall of this wall, which
Right.
influenced this, and like I want to kind of like
Great idea.
historical, like putting the movie in a historical concept because like we lived through this, but we don't listen. As a
Right.
millennial, we've gone through like I think 20 major lifetime events in our short span of time. Okay, like we've had 2 financial crunches. We've had what, like 4 major plagues.
Yeah, yeah.
We nearly lost all civilization in 2000 with the Y2K. Like people forget Y2K was a thing, and then like we had the invent of the internet. Like we've had major life-changing events happen to us.
Well, they say we're not even here anymore. We're
This is all like 2012, like. Anyways, like there's been so much in my life. Like people forget what happened in the '90s, and like now that the '90s are kind of getting revampalized thanks to like Alpha and Z. I don't know what generations we're at now. All I know is I'm a millennial. That's all I know. I'm technically an elder millennial or a late Gen Xer. I don't know anymore. They keep blurring the line.
right. I'm here.
I was born in the '80s. That's all I can say. So I'm an '80s baby. Right, one of the weirdest generations. But so a lot of people forget what happened in the '90s. So I want to kind of like movies are culture.
Yeah.
Like the '90s were influenced so much, and then the movies that were there, they were influenced by stuff. So I want to bring that in. So the Phil Better Show will be changing to that. That feed will still be a movie show, but the name will be changing, and I'll be relaunching the Phil Better Show as something else. That's more inclined with the name. Sorry, my phone just went off and I'm changing. I should have put it on do not disturb. I'm going to be relaunching the Phil Better Show as something else. I'm not sure yet, but I wanted to play with feeling better because obviously feel better. I haven't heard that 1,000 times, so I want to make it right. I want to make it part of the show. So I haven't decided where we're going to go with that yet. So, but yeah. That's who I am. I love podcasting. I have 4 shows that I own and host myself, or I'm a co-owner on one of them. And there's 20 others that I produce for my for my audience, for my clients. I have the Cloud Chronicle podcast, which I'm wearing their merch right now. So the visual thing that you asked me to bring on is the merch. So I have the Cloud Chronicle. I have this jersey, which is from Sarlar, France, which you can see right here. On the camera, Sarlar, France. It's a rugby team out in France. One of my guests actually purchased the team during the pandemic, or just before, around the pandemic. Yeah, he purchased them during the pandemic. He hired me to help his company and sports team build out their podcast infrastructure and host their podcasts and that. So he sent me some merch here. So I got this jersey, I got a sweater, I got a water bottle, I got some pens and stuff. Then this is the one that I'm the most proud of, the TWS Sports Podcast. They sent me a mug and they sent me a coaster. The TWS Sports Podcast is a podcast out of London, out of England, not London, somewhere northern England, I want to say. But it's hosted by autistic students at a school, the TWS school.
Amazing. I love that.
And the teacher reached out to me, Adam Millichip. He is he can ask anything of me and I will do it for him, because he took my advice to heart and he's been doing it, and they've been getting such like huge accomplishments from them. Just listening to their first episodes to their new episodes, you hear the students grow in confidence because Adam was doing most of the talking, and then it went to the students, and the students now do everything, and Adam barely is on the podcast. But they interview sports legends of the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So they've had some amazing people on. They've had a vice president or the president of Disney on at one point, or in Disney resorts or something like that. But their main people are these sports legends that they come on. They've been featured on both their local BBC and the national BBC. They've been invited to a movie premiere. They've been written up in the newspapers. They're like a top 1 or top 0.3% podcast worldwide. They're doing like it is insane.
That's amazing.
Yeah, what they're doing and the accomplishments, and like my hat's like whenever someone talk like, so Phil, what's your favorite podcast? TWS Sports Podcast. Off the bat, 100%, they are like diehard. If anything, I'm probably gonna end up getting them tattooed on my body. Like that's how much I love them, and like they are the reason why. Like they are my core people. Like obviously I want people to make podcasts that change the world, but I also want them to be able to podcast so that they can be paid to do it. And like if I can help them make enough money that can fund, extracurricular activities or get extra support for their school, then I'm going to do it. Like I'm going to figure it out so that they can implement it, and it's easy. It's simple. It's not easy. It's simple so that they can make money.
Yeah, that's what's up. I'm an educator, a teacher. So we were just talking about autistic kids and how they're not, like all the things that don't work for special needs kids out here. But a friend of mine. And so anything, when you said that, it's floated in my heart because I work with one in particular, and I've watched him grow, and it's like
seeing them hit those. So it's super important to me because like my god sister, her daughter's nonverbal autistic, right? So that's like my sister. That's like my little sister, like a niece to me. And my brother lives with paranoid schizophrenia. So for me, like anybody who has a quote unquote disability, an illness or anything like that, I'm like, yo, what can I do to help you?
Yeah.
Just tell me like the strides that my brother, because my brother, it's 15, 16, 17 years. I don't know. It's a long time. Since he was 21, let's say 14, 15 years now. He couldn't leave the house. Like when he had his mental break, when he was like 100%, he's med compliant and all. Like you couldn't tell today. You'd think he would just be shy today. If you looked at him, you think he's shy. But when he first was diagnosed, like all those years ago, he would sit in a chair, smoke cigarettes. All the blinds were closed in the house. To today, he literally can drive my dad's car, go down for $5 to a store, parallel park, and go buy something, obviously with one of my parents with him, because he's not 100%. He still needs that blanket, that security blanket. But get in the car, drive to the store, go to the store, purchase thing, go back in the car, drive home.
That's amazing.
And just that huge arc that seeing him go from not being able to even leave the chair, like literally it was bed, chair, bed. That was his routine. He would eat there. He wouldn't trying to get him to move was like, no. Obviously it was also trying to get the meds right and all that, and the meds have helped, but he's been stable on the same meds for like at least nearly a decade now, or just about. But it's like literally seeing him get the confidence to do these things and try and reach these goals. And it's the same thing. It's not hard. It's not easy to do these things. It's simple. Put in the consistent work. And eventually, like Lloyd says, pretty much, it's like once you hit a certain point, the momentum of investment, the inertia of investing, the compound interest will start paying off. Like right now, we're all pushing this boulder up. We're trying to build something. As long as we keep every day showing up and push that boulder up, eventually we're going to hit the peak, the critical point, and it's just going to clunk. And it's just going to take off, and we won't have to do anything. Like if you look at Warren Buffett's net worth, it didn't start off at billions of dollars. No, he was only a couple $100, and you just see that eventually it just goes off because the compounding interest takes effect. It just boom, it compounds because now it has more money to put in, right? If you put $100 every day for 100 days, right, you have $100,000, right? That's the end of it.
Yeah.
But now you start investing that. Like, let's say you start investing that, right? You I talked to a buddy of mine and I was like, Lloyd actually has it, and I feel bad I can't remember, but he's like, if you invest, I think it's $100 every week, by the time, like in 15 years, you'll be a millionaire or something like that.
So everybody can be a millionaire. It's not
Yeah,
impossible.
it's not hard. Here's the thing. Live below your means. First off, you should always be living below your means. You should be paying yourself for first, but 3 books you should be reading. These are the 3 books anybody should read if you want to create your wealth. I don't want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. You have to make that clear distinction, because being rich means getting get rich quick schemes, and money's quick and money's gone.
You can be rich at heart.
Yeah, it's gone. It's riches, right? They disappear. Wealth means it's going to my kids. It's going to my kids' kids. It's going to like 9 generations down. I don't want my kids. I don't want anybody in my legacy, anybody who decides to spring from my genes, if you will, to have to worry about working. Right. Why? Because you won't have fun. Will they learn about hard work? Hells yeah. But they'll also not have to worry about, oh, I have to go to work to pay for school. Nah, man. Like, if you want to go to school, we got you.
Yeah,
we got you. We're taking care of that. You're going to go to this school. You're going to be taken care of. You're going to learn. You're going to, like what Shaq does. You need the 3 Ds before you're touching daddy's cheddar, or 2 Ds before you're touching daddy's cheddar. My kid's going to have the same thing. You need to learn how to make your money. But when you come back with like three degrees or 3 businesses, and you come with a plan, I'm going to be like, I like that. Let's go. Let's see what we got. Right. But that's what it is. It's just, I don't even know where I was going, but I just want to make enough money so people like becoming wealthy. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Being wealthy.
Poor Dad. I'm just guessing.
No, not Rich Dad Poor Dad. But yeah, you can read that. That's not bad. But I would suggest Money Grows on Trees first, because it's my client's book, obviously. But Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is a book everybody should be reading, because it changes your mindset. And then The Richest Man in Babylon.
Okay.
Those 3, like the two books I just said, Think and Grow Rich, and what was the other one? The Richest Man in Babylon. Those 2 books are like, if you talk to any successful entrepreneur, any successful person who has a lot of money, it's from those books. Those 2 books changed the way they thought, changed the way they move their money. Okay. If you don't know about Babylon, Babylon was the richest city in the world for years. And all their people, all the population was wealthy too. Poverty was not a thing in Babylon, because it got people taught. So the book is laid out in like 4 or 5 lessons, and it's stories told by different people, wealthy people in the book. And it's life-changing. You take the steps that they do, and you follow it in your real life, you're fine. Think and Grow Rich will teach you to change the way you think about money, the way you think about success, because that's what needs to change. Your mindset needs to change. In that book, I wish I read it when I was younger. Think Money Grows on Trees is pretty much our generation, I wouldn't want to say, a revamp of the Rich Dad Poor Dad. Instead of using real estate, Lloyd uses investments, because investing in real estate, you kind of need a lot more capital, whereas investing in stocks or in ETFs or mutual funds or whatever you want doesn't take that much money. Because now that we have fractional shares and stuff, like, you should be investing just $100. Like, if you take $200 every pay and you put in towards stocks, and you just keep buying the same stock, you just what's called dollar cost averaging, you'll be fine. Just pick one stock like Google, Apple. Don't stay away from. Learn to evaluate a stock. Learn how to evaluate those good stocks. Because like if you want to get rich quick, it's not happening. But if you look at like companies that have been like, there's only one company that's been on the S&P 500 for the last 20 years, and that's Microsoft. In the last, like, every 5 years, the S&P 500 has changed the top 10 companies. Think about that. Like, the S&P 500 is the 500 most valuable companies in the world, or in the US. And the last like 10 years, I think, or 10, 20 years, Microsoft is the only one that stayed on that list.
That would be the no-brainer right there.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm going to invest in Microsoft because it'll be at least. But also, if you look at it, like, Facebook's going to be around because they're inventing, like they're going to be a multi-generational company. Apple is a multi-generational company. Google or Alphabet is a multi-generational company. You invest in that. And you just put your money into that because there's like pretty much safe bet. There's no like the internet runs on Google. Do you use the internet? Yes. Why don't you own it? Why don't you own it in Google? You know, and they have phones and people use their Androids, right? People can't live without their phone, right? So Android, Google, you know, or Apple, they make the iPhones. How many people like lined up for the iPhone 14 Pro? You know,
Madness.
hundreds of people. Like people will rather buy a new phone than, you know, pay their rent.
It's crazy, isn't it?
So
do they have a problem with money, like think the way relationship? Because that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. So if you know this, like if you know people will line up for iPhone just because it's the next iPhone, why the hell haven't you invested in that freaking company? It's not too late.
They're
Stop
ignorant
thinking.
and use it for your genius.
Right? You use an iPhone. Why don't you buy the company?
Yeah, pretty much.
And like people are like, yeah, but it's too late. I ain't retiring tomorrow. I got at least another 30 years to go. So if I invest for the next 30 years into Apple, $100, and then when I get some more money, I invest a bit more. Every time I have a lump sum, I buy some Apple stock. In 10 years, I could have 100 shares of Apple or 100,000 shares of Apple. Who knows? Okay. Then Apple drops that they now own, you know, Universal. They own this. They just bought that or whatever. Their stock goes from, like, let's say right now, hold on. Let's say Apple stock. What is it up right now? Stock price. The Apple stock is at $143.75 American. Okay. Let's say for the next 10 years, I buy Apple stock, it goes up to $200. So from now there goes to $200. That means my initial stock that I bought at $143 just increased its value by $37. So I increased my net worth by $37. Now, if I have 100 shares at $200 a price, and I decide to sell it, I'm going to be worth a lot of money. So let's say it's $200 at 100,000 shares times 200. That's hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros. That's a lot of moolah. Okay. You have 100,000 shares at $200. You're now worth $2 million, I think.
Jeez,
yeah. And then what you can do with that is you can get a loan from from a bank to now make more money. That's how the rich make their money. They leverage their assets. So what
they don't work.
Oh no, they work. Before they make their money, they work their ass off, and then they create passive income so that they now have money making money. They get their money to work for them. There's a guy named Mr. Wonderful, aka Kevin O'Leary. He's a Canadian. He's brash. He's trying to be like a Trump, but not as extreme as Trump, but he's an interesting character. He's very blunt when it comes to business. He's like, that ship won't fly. Like he's like, I'm losing money. Why would I? And he goes, my dollar bills are soldiers. Their job is to go out every day and capture more enemy soldiers to bring it back to me so that I have more soldiers to spend. He doesn't think of money as money. He thinks of money as something to get more money. So he takes his money and he invests in a company. That company then gets sold, right? He gets a percentage out of it. My money just went out and captured a hell of a lot of more money.
That does make sense, but he had a very keen way of putting it. Like, damn. But yeah, your money is supposed to make you make more money, and
if like you have active money, passive money, and then invest, or there's a third one. Lloyd talks about in his book. Your active money is when you sell your time for money. So when someone buys when I sell my time. So whenever I work for the pub, I'm selling my time. They're paying me for my time there, right? I sell them my time for 8 hours. They pay me so much of money. So that's active thing. My investments is passive because my money is working for me. I don't have to work. The initial putting the money in there, yeah, I have to. But afterwards, it's just rolling by itself. And then I have, courses I sell, my podcast, affiliate marketing, all these other avenues that money are just coming in. Those are all the streams of income. If you're relying on one stream of income, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Multiple streams of income. But first, you have your main stream of income, which is your 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is your base. It pays your bills. You start a side hustle. Doesn't matter what it is. You streaming, painting. You like video games. Stream. Anytime you play a video game, you better be streaming. Now is the time to build it because it's the time of the creator. It's the time of the creative. Business people like me will always be looking ways to exploit people who are creative to make money. However, I'm a creative business person. I want to make you more money than me because if you make more money, I can then use you to make me more money. Because I can say, look what I did for Brandy. I told her to go live stream her paintings. She was able through that to create an email list that got 10,000 people on it. From those 10,000 people, 5,000 people said yes to an event that she was hosting, showing off her paintings, and she was able to sell all 12 paintings. And it cost her nothing to do it. Or you pay me X amount of money and I can build everything for you and you just have to show up and do it. And then that can make you I hate doing this, but with Lloyd, he was my first client. I love him to death. I will do anything for him. Right. He, in 6 months running his podcast, he made $100,000, 6 months in his funnel. It's he's made 6 figures just in 6 months. That's a shit ton of money. But I haven't asked him recently, but this is just from launch and 6 months later, he was like, dude, we just did 6 figures. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, with the podcast help, it was able to boost. He's done other things, including it, but what the podcast does is another touch with your audience. It's like, hey, you bought my book, listen to my podcast. And then because he has a funnel from the podcast, it goes to something else. And if they're not willing to buy that, the podcast goes, hey, I'm teaching you. But at the end of it, it's the same call to action. Hey, come to this, come to this, come to this, come to this. And then they get a chance to be sold again. So if you're a business person having a podcast, it's great. If you're creative, you can use it the exact same way to make 6 figures. It's not hard. I have 10 items at $1,000. Boom, made 6 figures. But you have to put in the work to get there. And it's you have a talent, you paint. You should be live streaming your painting every single day you go on.
I do more. I sing, I make beats, do music. That's why I do everything.
Everything you do creatively, you should be doing it live streaming it, sharing it with your audience. And if you're worried, but someone's gonna steal my idea, who cares?
I do that with my poetry. I'm like, I don't know.
Your poetry should be in a book. You should have a blog post.
I do. I have 2 ebooks, so I did put it in the Amazon.
There you go. You have 2 ebooks. You should be this is what I don't understand about some creatives. Kevin Smith. This is what Kevin Smith. You want to know how people are going to buy stuff from you regardless. Look, I grew up in a time when there was a pet rock. A pet freaking it did nothing, people. It was a pet rock. You can go to the beach and get 1,000 pet rock. Someone sold it on an infomercial and people freaking bought it.
It's true. I believe it. It's so true.
If you don't, you can Google it. Okay, there's a website. And if you think people aren't going to buy your stuff, remember, enough people bought a pet rock. Okay, you look at I want people to listen. Put your hands over your ears if you're listening to the audio. If you're watching this on video, stare at. I'm staring at you. People bought a freaking rock that you can find outside. There will be buyers for your art. There will be buyers for your music. There will be buyers for your video. Whatever you create, your books, your poetry, whatever you create, there will be buyers. What you need to do is find out where they hang out. Here's the solution. So Brandy asked me to bring something for the visual people. I brought merchandise. So this is a way you can make money. If it has merchandise, you sell merchandise. Obviously, everybody knows this. However, this is for the audio people, the people listening. Very, very simply. I forgot what I was about to say. Hold on. It's going to come back. Making money is simple. It's not hard. It's hard work.
But a rock.
The rock. Yes. Okay. What you need to do is you need to sit down and figure out who is your ideal audience member. So if you're a painter, who are you creating your art for? Is it you 5 years ago to show yourself that, yeah, you're in a point of darkness, but light is coming? Is it, your friend Jane who needs some motivational words? Is it Billy the kid who needs to learn about history? You figure out who it is that you are creating your art for, and podcast videos, actual painting, drawings, charcoal, whatever it is, everything you do, the minute you put something out there for others to judge, it's art. And I'm always scared when people come listen to my show. I despise. I don't want to promote my show, but at the same time, I have to. It's really weird because I get terrified, and every once in a while, I get those comments that say, "Oh, this is amazing." It's like, okay, cool, that's nice. You're just probably just saying that because of my self doubt, my, the negative in my voice. But anyways, there are people who are going to buy your art. You sit down, you figure out who you're creating your art for. Once you know who you're creating your art for, print out a picture of them, have them, put them in a picture frame, put it on your desk, put it where you create your art, and go, anytime you doubt, you look at that painting and you say, Jose, I'm doing this for you. Or Bill, I'm doing this for you. Or Connor, or Tony, or John, or Marilyn, whatever their name is, I'm doing this for you. When you know who you're doing your art for, it's easier for you to create.
It's the same as podcasting, right? Like
same with podcasting. If I want to grow my podcast, I need to know who I'm doing my shows for.
Right, yeah.
I'm doing my show for the 25-year-old version of me, right? Who needs to know that you can make money online if you just take the risk and you just jump for it and you invest in yourself. That's why it's called Invest in Yourself. It's invest in yourself, the digital entrepreneur. I talk to people who make money, who took the chance to invest in themselves to go into the entrepreneur in the digital field because they knew that it costs nothing to build a business online. It costs nothing to build a business online. And that's who I wanted to help, to show that it costs nothing. The podcast series is because I wanted to help show when you invest in yourself, your podcast will be successful. If you take the time to learn your craft, you will be successful. I'm going to be having other ones. I am planning on making this like the Invest in Yourself. There's big plans for it. But the Stock Dirty Show is literally for people like me who've never invested, don't understand how to invest and want to start investing. But listening to the shows, they're like, oh my God, these are idiots. The best compliment I got about that show, was like, it sounds like just a bunch of guys sitting down, chatting, and just sharing their knowledge. We're not trying to overcomplicate things. We're trying to break down the complicated shit so that you understand it. We don't need to tell you the highfalutin zing and my zoggies. No, that's way too complex. You want to make money easy? Simple. It's simple. Making money is simple. Here's how. It's work. People forget that it's hard. They don't want to do the hard work. They want it easy. There's no easy road in life. There's only the hard road. But that hard road, it's going to teach you. It's going to teach you a lot. And what that teaches you is how to be successful. If you listen to the lessons that you learn, I don't fail. I learn. You have to change your mindset. Like I think it's Ben Franklin that said, I didn't find 1,000 ways to fail. I found one way I found 1,000 ways that don't work. And it's true. Look, I've tried 1,000 different ways. I've invested money invested in myself. I paid people to learn how to do LinkedIn properly, learned how to do Facebook ads, learned how to do Facebook groups, learned how to do emailing. I spent money on this because then I can teach it to other people so that they can do it without investing money.
I like that. That's dope.
I got it really annoys me when sorry, I'm going to go on a tangent right about that. I apologize.
Bring it back in. Breathe. Feel free. No, I love it. You're doing.
I'm gonna bust the it's coming to the end. So yes, for the audio people who are listening, and this is for everybody, if you want, remember, find one person you want to make art for. Whatever your art is, find one person you want to make that art for and just concentrate on making art for them. Like I said earlier, this goes back to my 8-person in a room theory, where they represent 1 billion people. If you have one person that you're making art for, they represent 1 billion people. They will find you if you keep focusing in on your one individual that you're making your art for. You go to the groups in Facebook that they're at. You can connect with them. You share your passion with them. You don't spam your link. You don't spam anything about you. If they're saying, hey, yeah, I'm having, you're like, I want to go for people who love, let's say, Marvel Comics, specifically the X-Men. Join X-Men fan groups.
Yeah, you
inside,
right?
You can communicate, and someone goes, oh, you know what, I love this XYZ, this scene in this comic book, and this panel in this comic book is really cool. I love it because of how, descriptive it looks, and how Scott Summers or Emma Frost or Wolverine looks. You're like, you know what, oh, that's so cool, I love that, I never saw that before, I'm going to try and paint that, or I'm going to try and draw it. Oh, really, you're an artist? Yeah, I have a live stream. Oh, really? Yeah, check out my profile. In your profile, have your link. If you don't have your link telling your friends and family who you should be, you are the.
You feel breathe.
Sorry, I just have so much I want. Like, I'm looking at the time, I'm like, I have to leave.
Don't worry, you always come back.
I know.
Trust and believe. We need that.
Yeah, I keep getting that invitation. They're like, Phil, you have to come back. I'm like, do I have to? I want to get it all out now.
I got so many.
No. Here you go. Like I was saying, you create your ideal audience member, the person that you care about, the only person that you want to make art for. Okay, whatever your art is. Then you go to the Facebook groups, you find the Reddit communities, the Twitter threads, you find where they hang out, they congregate, and you join them, and you just talk to them. You go, what do you like about this? You join in the conversations. If you have art that can enhance their life, tell them about it. But if you don't have art that can enhance the conversation, enhance their life, do not tell them about your art. Because it's not about you.
Right.
It is about your audience member. So you want to add to the value. You don't want to say, oh, that's a great comment. What are you doing? You're adding no value to life. Why are you doing this to yourself? But if you go, hey, like I had an episode, this is why I know this works. I had an episode where I had Ralph Sutton on. He was the second guest I had on Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur podcast. He was the second guest. He runs Gas Digital, which is, at the time, it was getting, I think, either 3 to 5 million downloads a year. Okay. And I asked him how, and he's like, he goes into this story about how he was a radio DJ first, drove down the Eastern Seaboard, dropping off tapes of his shows. His shows used to be interviews with celebrities that he would splice out the host, and he would ask the question, and then he would put in the celebrity's answer, and then cut back to him. He never had the celebrity in the show. He just recorded the episode, spliced it, and then went down the Eastern Seaboard and got syndicated by the time he got back to New Jersey. Okay, that's yeah.
Was that his guess at all? It wasn't a recording like with them? Like he never even...
No.
That was not his recording? That's dope. No. I've thought about stuff like that. How do you make that? But can you do that?
Look, there's a gray line. Gray line. You may get called out for it, and people may call you out and say, oh my God, it's not really happening. So you may not want to. However, he did it. That's how he got syndicated on his radio. He was also DJing inside a strip club and had a podcast. Okay, the SDR podcast, Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, SDR. And he needed a sponsor, and he had a big following in Jersey. So what did he do? He went to his strip club boss, and says, hey, do you want to sponsor my podcast? The boss was like, yeah, how much? And he threw out a figure. I think he bought like 4 episodes or something, or 4 months, something. Like he bought $100 or something. He just gave him money right on the spot. And I'm like, well, that's gold. And so someone was asking, how do I get sponsorship? And knowing I have this episode of pure gold, I go in and I go, so I had this person, he said this, boom, 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 boom. Like literally the points that he pointed out how to monetize your show, like right off the bat. If you're interested, I have a link with more where he talks more about it. I had 10 people ask for the link after that post. So I said, here's the link, here's the link, here's the link, here's the link. I got about 36 downloads on that one episode additional. The episode had been out for a while and hadn't been garnering any downloads. And all of a sudden, I posted, I got 36 downloads in one day. So if you're saying, no, it won't work, it worked. And it's something I do all the time. I can tell you that I just read a book about guys who made $1 million Facebook group. They make $1 million. They're trying to get $1 million a month. Right now, they've already crossed $1 million a year with their Facebook group. But they use their content that they create as evergreen content in the group to create buyers for their product inside their group. So they get members to come into their group, and then when members ask a question, they do a live stream every week. They do a live stream on different topics. So when a guest asks, when a person in the group asks a question, they can tag them in the live. Hey, hey, Brandy, you're asking about email lists. Here's a video where I break down how to create your email list. So then it re-engages it, pops it back to the top of the group, and other members see it. They watch it. The view count grows up. They see 1,000 people have watched it. Well, this must be, if 1,000 people found it valuable, I must be. They watch it. They're like, oh my God, they know what they're doing. And then they come hire you. Or they're like, oh my God, she knows what oh my God, that's amazing. Let's take you. We'll take you, Brandy. You make a Facebook group for your fans of your artwork. Okay. Just your artwork. Okay. And you use this group just to sell your art. Okay. You create an ad on Facebook. You put $5 a day. You say, hey, join my Facebook group, and it's you and art. And then you go, if you are a fan of art, you love whatever your niche of art is, and you go clack, 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 make sure you join here. Click the link here, it goes to your website where they sign up, and then they get redirected to the Facebook group where they answer 3 questions. They join your Facebook group. Okay. And every week you go live where you paint for an hour. On Monday, you go, hey, what do you guys want me to paint? Right? Monday is what do you want me to paint? Wednesday, you do like, hey, I do commissions or something else. Like Wednesdays can be your commission. You're like, hey, I do commissions if you're interested in working with me. So the first Wednesday and the third Wednesday of the month, you go, hey, I do commissions. If you're interested, click here, DM me, whatever. So you're actively trying to get your fans to buy commissions. And then on Friday, you do your live painting of your art, right? That Monday chose, right? They chose on Monday, or they talked about on Monday. Now, let's say someone goes, hey, I just jumped in here. I would love to see Brandy paint Bob Marley. Let's say Bob Marley. I see Bob Marley here. You can go, hey, Jessica, that's so awesome that you want to see me paint a Bob Marley. I actually painted one here at you go, and I can tag you in it. Would that be cool? They say yes. You go, you go find the Bob Marley, right? Because you leave you have your link to it. You go, hey, you go add Jessica. Boom. She watches it. She's like, oh my God, I want to buy it. How much is it? They just
play Jessica really well.
Right? Jessica, I'm really good at Jessica's. Fiona's, I'm horrible, but Jessica's, oh my God. But like Jessica, you tag Jessica. Jessica's like, oh my God, this is gorgeous. Can I buy it, or can I ask you to? You go, you know what? I do commissions. Here's my price range, or hit me in the DMs. And then you send them a picture of your price range: small canvas, medium canvas, large canvas, oil, pan, and they pick and choose, right? And boom, you just got, like, I just made you a money-making funnel right there. You have a one-page website where you just collect emails so that you can, and text messages if you want, that send people to your Facebook group. You get them into your Facebook group, and there's another thing I want people to buy this book so that they can understand how it works. There's another step inside the questions that they ask specifically that also helps them get more money. That would help you as well. Or sell more paintings if you want, or sell more beats. Like this, their strategy, and they sell the book for less than $5. And you can take that $5 and you can make $1 million from it. and they show you predictably. And all it takes is, if you read it, all it takes is to look at how you look at it creatively, because it's made for course creators, like the business creative, not the creative. So the business creative is entrepreneurs. They love creating businesses to make money. That's who I look as business creatives. Creative creatives are the traditional creatives, the artists, the painters, the musicians, the poets, the writers. Those are the creative people that got shafted. That they never learned.
Create the creativity, the ideas.
Yeah, they make life good. Because if we didn't have art, and I when I talk about art, I just don't talk about like the paintings, drawings. Art is anything that's created, right? Yeah. Painting, planting a flower arrangement in a certain way, that is art, because it invokes emotion. Yeah. Fireworks are artists, firework artists, because they do amazing. Drone artists, when you create and you get emotion from it, and your work creates emotion or elicits an emotional response, you're an artist. Okay. Yeah. Doesn't matter if you're a podcast artist, an artist in the traditional sense that use paintbrushes or writing utensils or whatever it is. When you invoke emotion, you are a creative in my book. So on the flip side, you have business creatives, who are people who think outside the box to create businesses or marketing. They make art through business. Yeah. Right. Email copiers. Those are artists in my books, because they invoke emotion to people to buy something. People who do ad work. Those are artists, because they have to create the artwork, or they have to create the copy, or they have to create the plan that will move people from seeing it to buying it. That's creative. That takes intelligence. That's art to me. For me, that gets more of an emotional response for me when I watch something and I try and dissect it, and someone's talking to me. I'm like, oh my God, how did you come up with that? Whereas I look at someone painting, I'm like, oh my God, that's gorgeous. That's beautiful. How do you have such talent? Right? Like, for me, that's more talent-based. When I look at someone who's doing business, I love dissecting a business and talking business, because it's so interesting to me. Talking about art.
Then you're a genius.
Yeah, like when you're able to, like, I love looking at the creative side. I'm like, okay, the creatives are doing over here, because I can make money off creatives, because you guys are specialized. If you're a good artist, it doesn't really take a good artist. Like, any art is good. Period. End of discussion. My nephew is Picasso to me. His stuff is worth more to me than you can give me a Picasso, and I'd be like, nah, I'm good with this. Like, put it somewhere else. I don't care. I want my nephew's stuff. Right? Because the value is different for every person.
Yeah.
But you can become an artist. Doesn't matter if you're just beginning, as long as you continually improve your craft and constantly just continue. People will want to support you, because they see you are willing to put in the hard work. You have to put in the work first before people will support you, because no one wants to help you push the train up.
Shit.
There we go. All right.
Are you frozen?
No, I'm not. I shouldn't be frozen. Am I frozen?
Don't worry, he'll be back. They keep doing this to us because they know that he just told us, like, everybody should be running off of here. I know how to pick them, don't I?
You do. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it did that thing again.
All right, it did that. Yeah, it jumped for you too. You kind of like were one section, then all of a sudden you start clapping, and I'm like, why are we clapping? I didn't finish my sentence. But no. Yeah, so anybody can, like I was saying, like, anybody can make money. Everybody can make a living online. It just takes time. Put in the time, with the effort, you will become successful. But you have to have a plan. You have to have a goal. You have to always, every day, get 1% better each day. By the end of the year, you'll be 37% better than where you were at the beginning of the year. I don't know about you, but being 37% better is better than being 0% better. Anyways, I'm just throwing a lot out.
Oh, knock it off. Okay, you talked the whole show.
I did. And I feel bad, because I'm like, I didn't let you speak. You probably had like 1,000 questions for me. And I'm like, no, we're not doing your questions. This is the Feel Better show now.
Right. But I feel better.
That's all I want.
And these questions, I didn't have to look on the paper. They were already here.
Oh, look at that.
But no, you covered a lot of it. Because I was going to even ask you, like, how confident are you? You already had about are you about what you do? And it was like you just showed it, everything. You're comfortable, like just certain things. Like why you? Why would a person go with you know what I mean? Like what is it about Phil? You know, and all those things just played out right now. And by this episode, people you just watch it and you already know why you would even have any dealings with Phil. Whatever you need, whatever you just sold everything you needed.
If I sold people, then thank God, because I think I'm like I still need to do more sales. Look, you know what? Look, I got people sending me. This is a good friend of mine. So if you're not watching, you should be. So make sure you get to her YouTube page, and Brandy will have them links down in the show notes. But her name, she hosts the Dear Sis podcast. I was one of her first male guests, and she created card games because she loves bridge. Or I believe it's bridge. I believe bridge is her game, and she's like, I want my cards. So she literally figured out how, got to a company, made a deck of cards with her name on it. She sent me one, and what's really good is there's a QR code inside. The jokers, I believe, have a QR code that if you scan it, you go take. Yeah, the jokers are scanned. If you scan it, you go straight to her podcast.
Oh, that's dope.
Think about it. 100 people buy it. You know, you put your QR code. Your QR code should be on your merch, or should be like a sticker on your phone. Like you have to make it stupid easy for people to subscribe to you if you're a podcaster or an artist. Like I have a business card, which I love. It's Tappy. I just need to put it up to their phone and it says open link. And they open the link and it comes to a Linktree account with all my stuff.
Yeah, that's
so if I go to a conference, right? I just go, here's my card, clack, tap their phone, and it pops up. And I'm like, what the hell?
No work. Kind of have to dial or nothing.
Yeah, no, none of that old school where I have to give a business card or you have to go to my website. Nah, here, click. It's already in your website. Have a nice day. Boom, I'm done. And people are like, whoa, and it has can I get a QR code that you can put stickers places? Like if I go to a conference, have a booth or anything, I have a QR code. People can just like scan the QR code. Like people don't realize how much technology there is out there that can help you grow everything. All you have to do is focus on one channel. First of all, don't focus on all the channels, focus on one channel. So if you want to grow on YouTube, just do like Jimmy did and just or Mr. Beast, hyper obsess over YouTube. If you want to be Instagram, hyper obsess over Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those. Anybody who says you can't grow on this is lying to you. Okay. You can grow as long as you just concentrate and just hyper focus. Right.
I was there.
Hyper focus.
Right. Yours be different.
Mm-hmm. Because if you get to 10,000 people on a platform, those 10,000 people, a percentage of them will start following you on other platforms. But also Instagram or those platforms will start throwing out your stuff because you're kind of a celebrity. They're like, oh, you did work hard for that. So you're getting more engagement because you want that engagement because engagement helps you. Oh, people are staying longer on it. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all they care about is keeping people's eyeballs on their platforms so they can make money. Okay? You are the product that they are selling to marketers, the ads. So you as a content creator, your business, what you want to do is you want to help your platforms keep eyeballs on their platform. So you decide, hey, I'm going ham into Instagram. So your goal is to keep as many of your eyeballs that you can get on Instagram. So you're creating engaging content. You learn about storytelling. You learn about imagery, everything you can about it. Invest in courses if you have to. Invest in mentors if you have to. Actually, not if you have to. You should be investing in mentors, should be investing in courses that can help you. Don't invest in the first course or the first mentor you find. See if it's a mentor, see if they have free content that actually works. If it's a course, if they don't have any free content that shows a bit about how their stuff works, don't follow them. It's probably not going to work.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, this is where we're going to leave you. This is a gift that I'm giving everybody. I wish it was ready now, but it's not. So I have to give you guys another gift. I have a Facebook group. It's for podcasters. It's just launching. This is probably going to
I read that. Yeah.
When is this going live?
This is going up. What's today? Today is Tuesday. This should be up the latest Thursday, but the start is saying tomorrow.
Start tomorrow. Okay, so the post will probably be already live on my Facebook page, but I'm launching a Facebook group for podcasters, specifically independent podcasters, for daily downloads. I'm going to teach you how to get daily downloads for your podcast. So to get to it, all you have to do is go to feelbetterinc.com/Facebook group. Now you can capitalize Facebook and group, or you can keep it all lowercase. You can put a dash, doesn't matter. Facebook group. So it's feelbetterinc.com/Facebook group. You go there, you will be admitted probably by the end of the day. I can't guarantee you'll be admitted right away, but you come, you join the group, you'll be inside the group. I will teach you tips, different techniques for you to get daily downloads for your podcast and grow your podcast beyond belief. That is my gift for anybody who's listening. If you are a podcaster who's listening, come join my group. I promise you, I have helped get as Brandy has seen, like I've gotten multiple podcasts in the top 10%, top 1% on Apple charts. Lloyd Ross's podcast, Money Grows on Trees, has over 1,000 followers on Spotify right now. I think we're closing in on 1,000 on Apple and Google. I don't know how many we have because I haven't checked those recently, but these are, and he gets daily downloads. These are techniques that are used by people who pay me to help them get this. So I'm giving this away for free by just joining the group. So if you're interested in that, you can go to feelbetterinc.com/Facebook group.
So I make sure that's in the link, and I'll be heading over there. I did see that in a post of yours earlier. So yeah.
Yeah, I haven't announced. Like the group's I've been working on it a while. There's a couple. I think I'm closing in on 200 members that were kind of like the beta testers of that group. But we're relaunching it. It's been rebranded. It's going on now, and by the time this is live, I should have made the announcement about the group. So yeah, you guys can easily find it. Just go to feelbetterinc.com/Facebook group, and of course, like Brandy said, it's in the show notes.
Yay! Yes, it is. No excuse. No excuse. Well, I had a good time. But guys, just know that I do talk. I just feel he just wants to make us feel better.
Feeling better with all the tips that Phil gave out.
No, I loved it because I got to take like get the info.
Oh, also, Brandy, you need to send me this episode afterwards so I can put it on my feed.
Yes.
Because something I do, and this is what here's another free hint for podcasters out there, and this is not something I came up with. I have to give it to Grow the Show, Kevin Chamberlain, I think his last name is. I'm not sure what his last name is, how to pronounce his last name is. But what he does is whenever he goes on other shows, he, as a thank you for having me on your show, or having him on their show, he puts it in their feed. He puts the episode in his feed, gives them a personalized intro. So like, hey listeners, I was recently on Behind the Mic with Brandy Joy, and we talked about different methods of monetizing your artwork or your creative. We talked about the difference between business creatives and creative creatives and all that fun stuff. And I gave tons of value. And this is not just me saying I gave tons of value. This is Brandy said it. You can see the show notes down below, said it herself. So make sure you listen to this. It's only a portion of the episode, but the link to listen to the whole thing or even watch it is going to be in the show notes down below. So without further ado, here's me on Behind the Mic with Brandy Joy. And you do something like that, and not only will you get more downloads and more subscribers, but you will also send more people to the other podcaster. And the only way we grow is if we grow together. So why not help them grow with using your audience? So anyways, those are all my tips. Yeah, I'll give away, like someone asked me, I'll give away a farm. Like if you want, I will tell you exactly what you need to do. You don't even have to pay me, because I know someone's going to be like, yeah, this is too much work. You do it and I'll do it, right, and I'll get paid for it. Because there are people willing to pay me to do it. Like I talked to a guy who gets paid $100,000 to help really rich people create their own TV show. Think about it, $100,000. This guy's not even older than me, and he started in podcasting. Anyways, should we go into like a minute 30? Should we make it like, yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna
Oh
talk
yeah.
for another 6 minutes. Do you have any other questions for me?
Like, no,
Anything,
of course.
Randy, ask me anything. You got me for 6 minutes.
Of course I will. Okay. So, Phil, what is your why? Why do you do any of this you do? Your core why?
My why is because I don't want to see people struggle. And when I say I don't want to see people struggle, I can't believe that I live in a country that, or I live next to it, like I live in one of the richest nations in the world. And we still have problems with poverty. We still have problems with debt. We still have problems with social unrest. And I know the only way we're going to change it is if we have to be this change that we want.
Yep.
So I want to eradicate poverty. I think it's the stupidest thing in the world that there's a difference of income between the rich and the poor now that we have the internet. So my goal is to help as many people make as much money as they can. I don't care how much money you make. I know my happiness index ends at $70,000 a year. After that, you don't get any more happy from money. Having a lot more money is obviously doing all the trips and that, but like your salary, 70K, after that, $2 million, that's not going to change it's not going to make you any happier. It's going to be able to give you those experiences. But at 70K, you're not anything over 70K. It's not going to give you a boost that reaching the 70K point is. So I want to help people make money. Money is easy to make. Just look at what the government did during pandemic. They printed money. Like if they can print money, then you can obviously print money as well. Someone else did it. All you have to do is you find that all I want to do is help enough people make money. I don't care if they make billions of dollars more than me. Great. That looks great for me because I helped you get there. If you want to steal my information and sell it off as your own, go ahead. Do it. Because I'm still helping them. My why is I want to make sure that no one struggles. I don't want families to be struggling over money because it's why. I'm done with that. I'm fed up of families struggling over money. I don't want another kid to grow up seeing their parents fight about going to a vacation, about can we afford this vacation, or we have to declare bankruptcy because of this or that. Like, I don't want that. I don't want kids to have that problem. I also don't want adults to be struggling with debt because they went to school. Because they were sold that bullshit lie that school is so important. My why is to, hey, you got talent, you got you have a drive to learn. Done. Let's go. I will tell you exactly the 3 steps you need to get to there. I want to help as many people with my stuff. I want my legacy to be that, hey, I interviewed enough people that one of my episodes on any one of my shows is going to be the one thing that you needed to hear to start your journey to change your freaking life. If I change one person's life, I'll die a happy son of a gun. One person, it's kind of funny. I've already helped one person change his life multiple times, and I haven't even talked to him about him on this show, which is sad, but he's probably next to the TWS Sports Podcast guy that I'm probably the most proud of in my life, and it's Chris Coden, and he started his podcast talking with experts, terrified, and now he nearly a year later or 2 years later, he's running his own company from his podcast, helping other experts launch their show so that they can share their expertise. This man, thanks to his podcast, got a job offer from one of the largest marketplaces for entrepreneurs in the world. From there, he was poached to be the CFO of a company, of a startup. Ended up deciding that it wasn't for him. The role was not exactly what he wanted. Then launched his own company called the Podcast Launch Academy, where he helps system matter experts Smeeze, launch their podcast in 13 weeks to success. Just seeing what he's done and where he's gone and being a part of that, being one of the first guests on his show, he reached out to me and asked, hey, I want some help. You're an expert in podcasting. And seeing where he's gone and gotten to today and where he's going to go.
Awesome.
And it's insane. So like, and this is what podcasting is brought to me. And this is why I'm so hardcore into podcasting. And whenever I hear someone like Gary Vee, Mr. Beast, or whoever talk positively about podcasting, I'm like, yes, I've been saying this for years. But yeah, it's my why is I want people to figure out, I want to help as many people as I can. Like, and just make sure they're happy. Like my name says, I want to make people feel better. Like my daily goal is to make one person smile a day. And so that's cracking a joke. If I make you smile, I know I'm happy. Right. So apart from my girlfriend, who I don't even understand why she's with me. I annoy her so much, but she loves me. So I'm happy with that. I'll take that for a win. But yeah, so as long as I make one random person smile a day, I'm happy. So if anybody's listening to this actually did smile, make sure you join my group and let me know. So I can get that validation. Tag me and go, Phil, you made me smile. Thank you.
I've been smiling the whole time, you know. No, because you can't help so. You have a very keen way of you can tell you're genuine. You know, you love what you do, and that's I know how to pick them because I
apparently you do, and I'm so happy. And also, I'm so sorry. I have to get you that article. I've been trying to write. I've been trying to get it done to send it to you for like the last 3 weeks. I
think we were busy because I'm like, does he remember?
Yeah, I remember. No, every day I've been like, we're writing a bit of it because it's like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. Oh, I have this, I have that. I'm a one man band. Oh, I'm talked out. I'm done. We should end this before I make more of a fool of myself. Brandy, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Anytime. Thank you, everybody. I know you got something out of this show. Please keep in touch, follow, feel better, and we will be back with another great episode. So until next time, Real Wise Production is Brandy J. Peace.